thousands of people just cancel their subscriptions with HBO Max.
I don't find HBO worth watching anymore.
Netflix, Disney Plus, or even Amazon Prime is better than HBO Max now.
What was once seen as the greatest challenge to Netflix online streaming monopoly may soon cease to exist. From the pinnacle of the streaming throne to a catastrophic freefall, the downfall of HBO Max has left industry experts stunned and audiences bewildered and asking the same question: what the hell is going on with HBO Max? Buckle up, entertainment enthusiasts, because things are heating up in the world of streaming. The ever-popular HBO Max is making waves again, leaving viewers and insiders alike scratching their heads and wondering what's next. Get ready for a gripping ride as we delve into the shocking reasons behind the catastrophic collapse of one of the biggest players in the streaming game and tell you what's going on with HBO Max. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to unravel the scandalous story behind HBO's troubles. It all started with a sudden shift in leadership and a new approach that shook the very foundations of the streaming service. HBO Max had already been struggling, but when it fell under the management of the Warner Brothers Discovery behemoth, everything went haywire. In April 2022, the merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery marked the beginning of a series of monumental decisions about content production. The first move was to pull the plug on new scripted shows for TNT and TBS, a decision that seemed like a cost-cutting measure at the time, but it was only the tip of the iceberg. The real trouble began when they turned their sights on HBO Max, the crown jewel of their streaming services. Despite boasting a massive 92.1 million subscribers across both HBO Max and Discovery Plus, the company made drastic changes to the programming library that left the platform reeling. And it's safe to say that the public's perception of the service has taken a major hit in recent months. So, what's the reason for all of this chaos? You guessed it, money. The company has set its sights on cutting costs by a staggering $3.5 billion over the next 3 years, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen, even if that means eliminating programming from HBO Max and pulling the plug on films that were almost finished. This had fans worried that some of their favorite movies and shows may make this list, and unfortunately for them, they were right. HBO pulled the plug on some iconic projects, both old and new, but some hurt more than others. HBO Max sent shockwaves throughout the entire industry with its decision to axe films that were almost completed, like Scoob, Holiday Haunt, and Batgirl. These were two of their highly anticipated mega projects that fans were super excited for. But that's not all. They also deleted a boatload of other original movies and TV episodes from their streaming service. It wasn't just new projects that felt the heat. HBO Max slowly but surely erased some old iconic shows from the platform altogether. Classics like Martin Scorsese's historical series Vinyl, the Domhnall Gleeson comedy series Run, and the highly anticipated revival of The Time Traveler's Wife were all given the boot. The real gut punch came when they removed Westworld, once touted as HBO's surefire successor to Game of Thrones. But it wasn't just fans who felt the pain. Creators became wary of working with HBO Max after they saw how quickly the company could pull the plug on a project. Who wants to pour their heart and soul into a passion project only to have it yanked away overnight? So, what could possibly have led to such a monumental decision? It's clear that HBO Max has been struggling with costs, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to save a buck. But at what cost to their reputation? Surely there must be other reasons as well, right? HBO Max has caused quite the stir by removing some of its original series, despite having a plethora of underutilized shows and movies on its platform. But why the sudden change, you ask? Well, there are not one, but two shocking reasons behind this monumental decision. Firstly, HBO Max is getting rid of family-friendly and kid-friendly content, which makes up the majority of what they're pulling from the service. And why, you might wonder? Apparently, the bigwigs at HBO Max have come to the conclusion that parents are not subscribing to the service to watch children's shows. That's right, even the beloved Sesame Street isn't generating significant ratings on the platform. This has led to the removal of the Not Too Late Show with Elmo and approximately 200 earlier episodes of the program. So say goodbye to quality programming for the whole family. But wait, there's more. The second reason for this sudden change is that HBO Max wants to declutter the platform. Executives in the streaming sector are worried that the platform may become too clogged with underutilized movies and television programs due to the upcoming addition of Discovery Plus programming. You see, Netflix has been facing the same issue with its programming, and executives at Warner Bros. Discovery are concerned that HBO Max might suffer the same fate. They're worried that people will start associating the platform with having a lot of content they don't want to watch. And if that's not enough drama for you, here's something else to chew on. HBO Max is known for focusing on adult-themed programming with a male audience in mind, while Discovery specializes in reality television with an explicit theme that attracts more female viewers. So, the combined services are directed at both adult gender groups, but not at children. But don't worry, because David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, has a plan to ease the angry customers and address all the concerns about these changes on the platform. But will it be enough to keep viewers from jumping ship? See the company's response and decide for yourself. Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav is defending his decision to axe numerous programs and films from HBO Max, and he's not taking any flack for it. According to a report from Deadline, Zaslav has made it clear that Warner Bros. Discovery made the right choice in getting rid of a plethora of shows and movies from the platform. He's not interested in pursuing creatively daring ideas anymore, but don't worry, because he assured the public that high-quality content will still be a top priority. Yeah, right. But wait, there's more. As a man of action, Zaslav knew he had to do more than just talk the talk. So, he came up with a wild plan that shook the entire streaming industry to its core. You won't believe this, but while other streaming services were increasing their prices, HBO Max did the opposite and dropped their rates to keep people from leaving the platform after they announced their merge with Discovery Plus. That's right, they lowered their prices just to stop the backlash. In a promotion that ran until October 30th, 2022, HBO Max offered first-year members who paid in advance a 30% discount on the yearly subscription plan. That's a 42% discount compared to the month-to-month pricing. The ad-free plan in this deal costed $104.99 annually, while the version with ads costed $69.99. They wanted to keep people from jumping ship, and it worked for a while. The higher-ups at Warner Bros. Were too smart to know that all these measures offered a temporary solution to a bigger problem that needed to be solved ultimately, and they may have finally just done that. HBO Max is ready to take the streaming industry by storm with a massive move that will change everything. Warner Bros. Discovery, under CEO David Zaslav's watchful eye, has had a bumpy ride, but it's poised to accomplish a huge milestone. Hold on to your hats, folks, because the biggest merger in the history of streaming is finally happening. After months of speculation, it's been reported by the New York Times that HBO Max and Discovery Plus will merge in May or June of this year, creating a new app that will shake the very foundations of the industry. And if you thought that was dramatic enough, wait until you hear the name for this powerhouse of a streaming service, Max. But what will happen to your favorite shows and movies for each app? That's the multi-million-dollar question, folks, and one that hasn't been answered yet. According to the Times, there will be less expensive versions of the service, including a tier with advertisements. So you may have to settle for annoying ads interrupting your favorite content if you don't want to fork over the current $16 a month price tag. But here's the real kicker. Dropping HBO from the brand could spell disaster for the beloved streaming service. After all, HBO Max has made a name for itself as the go-to destination for high-quality films and television. But with the addition of Discovery's more reality TV-focused catalog, will the quality of the content be diluted? It's a valid concern for HBO Max subscribers who have come to expect nothing but the best. So, while this may be great news for Warner stockholders, it could be a dark day for those who have been loyal to HBO Max. Will the new Max live up to the expectations set by its predecessor? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure though, the streaming industry will never be the same again. Having said that, thank you for joining us on this rollercoaster ride of HBO Max. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on all our latest investigations. And as always, stay curious and stay informed.